Hello again, welcome to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf back with Eric Sfiligoj after a brief...
Your secret trip.
No, it really wasn't that secret. It was
Can you share anything with us?
Oh, of course I can.
All right, please.
Well, I was actually in Oregon, believe it or not, of all places. I flew to Portland. We drove into... We were supposed to fly, but both legs of the flight were canceled.
Yeah.
So our quote unquote limo in the sky turned out to be a Chevy, I don't know, a Chevy SUV of some sorts.
Very nice.
It was a very attractive trip, but one I could have done without. Anyway,
you got to see more scenery that way.
We did. It was lovely coming in through the mountain passes and stuff, and then you open up and it's basically basically flat and kind of dry and
For Paul's Facebook friends, I believe there's a Columbia River picture up there someplace.
Yeah, somewhere along the way. But yeah, it was. We went to Pendleton, Oregon. We met with a gentleman named Jeff Lorton, who was showing us around some of the technology that they have going on there. They had a conference called Future Farm Expo that they've been doing the last couple of years. And we talked to him about drones and drone application. We talked to him about some of the technology they're using in vineyards and Oregon's wine production in that region and kind of the northeast region. It's really increasing. There's a lot of sharing of technology and ideas between Oregon and Washington and Walla Walla and the huge wine growing area that's occurred there. So just technology for vineyards and getting a sense for what's going on there. And some of those companies will be, I think, going to be contributing to the Vision Conference in terms of speaking and things like that. So again, Vision Conference is going to be in January of 19.
Also up in that area. Yeah.
Yes, also in Seattle. So they're really excited about the potential for that, and should be some interesting talks coming from that whole visit. So
okay,
yeah, it's a part of the country I hadn't seen before. Pendleton, Oregon is sort of like 3 hours from all of the major cities, and so it was kind of a wagon stop, which makes it colorful. Colorful place.
Was the food good?
Stopped. The food was actually very good. We were at a
right.
delicious steakhouse there, and some other places that were really, really terrific. It's got an interesting blend of a cowboy mystique plus hipsters. So it's kind of
I can't even imagine the wardrobe. I'm trying, and I'm not getting there.
You've got like a saddle shop, and then 2 doors down you have the yoga / enlightenment place. So you're like, wow, where am I?
I will never watch another rerun of The Virginian again and look at it the same way. It's just not going to be possible.
So yeah, they have the Pendleton Roundup, which is something they've had for over 100 years. That's everybody I think has heard of that, and that's a big part of the heritage. Really the whole cowboy heritage is very deep there, but it's interesting because they've got a lot of younger people there and trying to figure out how to use this technology and agriculture's there. It's really an intersection of things now beyond cowboys and Indians and all that other stuff. So it was a good visit, interesting, and we'll be able to incorporate some of that down the road.
All right, be looking forward to that. Well, Paul, I know one thing that we've been following, of course, are the little trade tensions we've had between the U.S. and China. It seemed like they were easing up just before Memorial Day weekend hit when we're filming this video. And China was agreeing to make some more purchases of soybean, which they hadn't done in about a month. But we found out on May 29th that the administration is going to go forward with some of the tariffs that they were threatening. And as a result, as you might imagine, we've seen commodity prices start to drop. Apparently corn was off about 7.5 cents as we're filming this, so it's down under $4 per bushel, and soybean was off about 10 cents, down to about $10.30 per bushel. So Paul, those tensions are still there, and now the commodity prices are going to be suffering as a result.
Yeah, I mean, maybe by the time this actually comes out on Saturday morning, it may be.
This might be very fluid. This could be changing, but as we're filming, there's some issues there. Yeah. But we do have some definitive news here. I guess a coming and a going. Under the heading of upcoming would be the Bayer-Monsanto merger. Found out that the U.S. Justice Department and the Indian government have now given their blessings to this merger going forward. So we'll be seeing that coming down very shortly. And under the heading of goodbyes, I know we had mentioned a few weeks ago about crop production services becoming Nutrient Ag Solutions. And as that transition takes place, we found out that longtime members of the company, Tom Warner and Billy Perkle, will be leaving the company here probably as of August 1st. So best of luck to Tom and Billy, two good friends of ours here at Crop Life. We'll miss you, and hopefully we'll be able to work with you down the line in some other capacities.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a couple of people that I think I met both. I met Tom fairly early on in my career here before, and really all the mergers and things were put together beyond CPS and Western Farm Service at the time. And Billy, of course, we've interacted with a lot, and you know, really from an on-the-ground standpoint, regulatory standpoint. Isn't a better guy in the world that really that knows the technology, understands what needs to be done, and has the passion for it. So that certainly will be missed. Yeah. And Paul, one thing to point out, I know we had Lucky in my lap, but it looks like you have a new mug in yours this week. That I don't.
Hold it a little higher.
That's a weird transition.
Hold it a little higher.
I'm a little uncomfortable. Anyway, this is from I call out Vince Restucci in particular, and this is you know, from R.D. Offit, and he was kind enough to laugh, send me an email, and then drop this in the mail as a R.D. Offit company mug, large grower, potatoes, but many other things as well. But thanks, Vince, for that. So yeah, we have at least one more on the docket, and I think the promise of another one to come from there. So keep those mugs a coming, because I certainly have plenty of coffee to be consumed over the next several months.
I got nothing after that. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's it for this edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.